Man, in 2019, we lost an unsung hero in Rip Torn. And he's somebody that I didn't appreciate until it was well too late. I remember him in Men in Black, and I didn't start watching Larry Sanders Show until after Gary Shandling and him and Rip Torn passed. But fun fact about Rip Torn, did you know he had a beef with Dennis Hopper back in the day?
Why? What was the beef? Where's the beef?
It piqued my interest too, man. So Easy Rider, Jack Nicholson's role was supposed to go to Rip Torn initially, but some way, somehow, he had some choice words with Dennis Hopper, and it got to the point where he pulled a knife on Dennis Hopper, threatening his life. Yeah,
Rip.
Yeah, and
you get to rip it.
Yeah, but he don't play. As much as I love some Dennis Hopper, I think he's cool. That kind of made me appreciate Rip Torn even more, like because he's a savage.
Pulling a knife, that's not the way to get a job. I feel like you're pulling a little tool out there, but I wonder what they were arguing about. You know, like what ultimately, why was the knife pulled, Rip? And with a name like Rip, I assume he's got a knife on him at all times, at least back in the day.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I kind of just knew him from, like what you said, he was in Men in Black. I mean, this came after the 90s, but his role in Dodgeball was hilarious. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. He was in that. The dude in the wheelchair. He's been in a couple other things. And the funny little anecdote I have is that I used to get him confused with Rip Taylor. Obviously, they have very similar names, but very different ideologies. I guess one pulls a knife and the other pulls glitter and confetti out. Oh my God. It's two sides of a different. I mean, they're polar opposites, Steve, with the same very bizarre first name. That's odd.
Disparate characters they are. So I found out that when Torn met with Hopper and Peter Fonda, Hopper reportedly ranted about rednecks, which offended Torn, who was a Texan. The disagreement escalated, and Torn pulled a knife on Hopper, leading Torn to withdraw from the project. And years later, Hopper appeared on The Tonight Show and claimed that Torn had pulled a knife on him, which infuriated Torn even more. So
Rip Torn, he got a bigger knife.
Yeah, a bigger dagger. And Rip Torn sued Dennis Hopper for defamation after the Tonight Show interview. Torn won the lawsuit, with courts affirming that Hopper's statements were false and defamatory. So, hey, I mean, if he pulled the knife or not, I still rocks with you, Rip Torn.
Let the legend live, Rip. But hey,
yeah,
at a certain point, Rip can't have his reputation be sullied. I like he's litigious. He'll pull a knife on you or call a lawyer. Either way, you're going down.
So I can't help but think, like, all of his roles where he's playing like the art or the dad on Freddy Got Fingered, is that really acting?
Really, honestly, Steve, most of his roles are just him being an asshole or just being crazy. So I feel like they're, from what I'm hearing here, it might be a fine line between art and reality. That's great, though. Nope. I love that he pulled a knife because somebody was like, yeah, rednecks.
Yeah. Did you just catch what you put out there between art and reality? You didn't even know you did
that. Well, salute to Rip Torn. Rest in peace. And don't get on the bad side, I guess, because he will slice and dice.
Yeah, man. What this is Steve G and Matt G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your Eddie Vedder posters and your Ed and Eddie, because your socks, they smell, your feet, they stink, you never take a bath. You noses running, you bust your buns, you always finish last. Sick of you. I'm so sick of you. Sick of you. I'm so sick of you.
You trying to tell me something, Steve?
I'm trying to tell the world that. Like and describe. Like and describe.
Yeah,
Please.
liking and describing, please and thank yous.
Well, today, my friend, we're talking all things January 8th in the 90s. Hey, now. Starting off in 1990, Gwar would release Scum Dogs of the Universe. And I know where this is headed, man. I know where this is headed.
What, that I just never was into Guar, Steve?
Not only that, you probably despise them.
I don't honestly. If I gotta like pay attention to a band like this, this is the one I'm going for because of the pageantry, Steve.
Yeah.
They fascinated me from when I found out about them from I think it was Beavis and Butthead. I think that was the first reference I ever got to Guar, and I thought it was a joke. I didn't think it was a real thing, and come to find out, Steve, not only is it not a joke, people love it, people dig it. I didn't actually know that the music was in some ways socially conscious, and they actually had some messages behind the insane visuals that they throw at you. So shout out Guar, but
Yeah.
it's not my type. It's not my cup of tea, Steve.
I could already guess.
Not sipping on this tea that much, but like I said, respect the pageantry and just the overall costumery that they got going on there.
Yeah, and even the music itself. I mean, when you mix in the lyrics with the whole get up, it kind of gets diluted or whatever, but you miss the message though. You know, like you said, man, they actually have some meaningful lyrics and some actual meaning behind the lyrics. Slaughterama, it involves war killing hippies and Nazi skinheads in a game show style fashion. In the opening track, Salamanizer, in which the first verse was inspired by Gangsta Gangsta by NWA.
I do like that. I mean, that's pretty cool too. It shows they're putting summer, but then you see what it is, and some people run for the hills. See, I feel like I've seen like their concerts, and they got like blood spraying, flames coming out. It looks like they're like in some sort of an anus of. It's just all very fleshy looking and crazy.
Would
In
you love to
respect,
go to one of their shows?
I would honestly. I would like to do that. I'm not going anywhere near the main like floor because I'm not going because I feel like you got to wear like some sort of a tarp or something at some point at some of these shows. But take an edible, I'd love to people watch.
You want to be on the balcony for this one, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe an actual like suite if we're there. Like I maybe pay a couple extra hundos and just get kind of secluded from the masses.
it's like going to a Gallagher show, probably. But I don't think I was introduced to them by Beavis and Butthead, but I do remember seeing them on MTV for sure. As a kid, they stood out. I remember seeing their videos, and it was different. It's completely different. And by the way, R.I.P. MTV.
Yeah. Out of nowhere, very unceremonious. It was just like, yeah, it's done.
It's done, but
It's done. And now the only way I even knew is because Jordan. So shout out to Jordan for just announcing to me and the world, I guess, that MTV's gone. But you know who I always thought they looked like, Steve?
what's that?
And they should have had a tie-in or of some kind. I always thought that at least one of them or all of them kind of looked like Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat.
That's a good
You
take.
know,
Yeah.
a little bulkier, but I always thought they had that vibe. So they should have done like some sort of put them in Mortal Kombat shit.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Or no, was it Toasty?
Citrix Alley.
Yeah.
Yeah, but shout out Guar, dude. Shout out Guar for just, having a little bit of substance behind just the screaming and the insanity that you see on the videos.
But in 1993, Leprechaun premieres. An evil, sadistic leprechaun goes on a killing rampage in search of his beloved pot of gold. Directed by Mark Jones, starring Warwick Davis, Jennifer Aniston, Ken Olin, Mark Holton, and Robert Gorman.
Jennifer Aniston, forgot she was ever involved in this.
It's her first
I think
one.
she did a lot of she tried to like avoid talking about it. I think she's probably kind of embarrassed about it. Also, I don't know, you probably named him by name, but Pee-wee's arch nemesis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure in this, which I love.
Yes, sir. Francis.
Very A
Derp.
memorable fat guy. Just a he's like the quintessential 90s 80s fat guy, Steve.
Mark Holton.
Is he still alive? Is Mark still with us, Steve? Can you check that? Can you
67. He's still
Nice.
ticking.
Hell yeah, dude. Good job, Mark.
Teen Wolf, don't forget that. He was Michael J. Fox buddy, I think. He was the chubby buddy. Or I don't know if he was his buddy, but he was in Teen Wolf. I'm pretty
Wasn't
sure.
he in Little Giants also? He was in like a sports movie too. He was in the 90s as like kind of like a shitty coach, I feel like.
A League of Their Own he was in.
Okay. Yeah, he
Little
was
Giants.
he was in Little Giants. He was in League of Their Own. The one lady had like a kid and he was the grown-up version of the kid. Who
And
was
of
the
course-
quintessential 90s fat kid, you know?
And of course, he was in an episode of Seinfeld. You can't be a 90s character actor without walking through, you know.
He had just a very memorable, like, shitty look. He just looked like he wanted to talk some shit. So shout out to that guy. For me, Steve, Leprechaun in the Hood is my Leprechaun. This, you know, it's the first one, but I feel like they all kind of went comedy. They skewed comedy, you know?
There's no way they went into this being serious, of course.
But I mean, you got to give a huge shout out to Warwick Davis, who has to be the most prolific and successful tiny person actor in a costume or out of a costume. Usually in, but always. I mean, he's the main Ewok. He was a badass. He got permission, Steve, from George Lucas to do this movie, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah,
George Lucas is like his pimp. Like, can I please do this other thing? Whatever.
You can borrow my little hoe.
Yeah.
I love seeing them miss him with bullets. They're shooting at him with assault rifles, with all kind of different guns, and his little legs just move. You never catch me. I just found that hilarious.
I'm back. What a just weird idea for a movie in general, but I don't know if I'd constitute this as good, but they're always fun to watch when you're watching them with other people because it's a Mystery Science Theater 3000 situation for all of them. They're just so ridiculous, you know?
Definitely an up all night situation, man. And they exceeded the budget. You know, the budget was 900,000, but they made 8.5 million, man. It was a surprise hit. I don't know if they expected such a return on their efforts, but a cult classic nonetheless.
Yeah, it definitely outran the premise for sure. Because you tell me, oh, I made a horror movie with a leprechaun in it, I'd be like, all right, okay, I get it. And I think there's like 5 of these things, and they're not all quality, but they definitely, you know, they've made some money off this.
If you love the first one and you go into the sequels knowing to expect, each of them are going to deliver that. You know,
a friend with weed is a friend indeed.
Yeah. Whether Vegas, in space, in the hood, leprechaun, man. But yeah, shout out to Warwick Davis, man. He was also Willow.
I mean, he's been in, so I don't even know of all of his roles. He's so prolific. Dinklage is running because Warwick Davis walked, guys. Just so you guys all know.
Facts. But also in 1993, Hotel Room debuts on HBO, or David Lynch's Hotel Room, 3-part miniseries set during 3 different eras in a single room of an odd hotel where employees never age. Every story has a slight twist to it, but the stories are mostly dialogue heavy, psychological or relationship dramas. Directed by David Lynch and James Signorelli, starring Glenn Headley, Freddie Jones, Harry Dean Stanton, Griffin Dunn, Deborah Unger, Mariska Hargitay, Chelsea Field, Crispin Glover, and Alicia Witt.
I made it through one of these, Steve.
Oh.
I made it through one. The more we're talking about David Lynch, Steve, I could get strung up by Lynch fans, but I don't get it. It's not my bag. You know what I mean?
Same. And that's fair, man. You know, it's everything ain't for everybody. But like we both said before, though, there's a respect. There's a genuine respect for the man. Even though we're not pleased with his art, it's just, you know,
he's got style. And that's why I think he's singular and like popular. He does have a weird style to him. You know, you're watching David Lynch, but yeah, man, it's just like it's a something I just can't. I try. I want to. He's a cool guy. The guy himself, very cool. You know, he's funny. He has a personality and stuff. And I get why people like the movies because it's you don't
if you
see
like that aesthetic.
right. It's yeah, exactly. You don't see this anywhere else. You can't just there's not a bunch of people trying to impersonate David Lynch or making these generic movies because it's impossible. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Um
And that I respect that.
Exactly. It's the same as what's his name? Dude from Baltimore. Mustache.
Oh, that's my guy, John Waters.
Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
But I respect the dude, and I think he's a cool. The person, awesome. It's cool. I love the vibe. I just don't like his movies, but yeah, dude, I get it. But shout out to Crispin Glover. I watched the one with like the call girl in the hotel. Beginning. Yeah, it's like the first one. So you know, it was all right, but it just I was like, okay, I see what this is, and I wonder how popular this is because I've never really heard of this.
It's not, because that's why it only lasted 3 episodes. And if you watch it on YouTube, they put them all together. It's got some of his usual suspects, Harry Dean Stanton, Griffin Dunn, and you know, I don't know if Glenn Headley's a usual collaborator, but Glenn Headley, she plays the hooker in the first vignette. And I don't know if you realize that's the lady, that's Tess Trueheart from Dick Tracy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I was trying to figure out. She was in something else that we just talked about.
Glenn Headley.
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about Steve Martin. We were talking about Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and she was in that. She was the chick in that.
Okay. We lost her in 2017, so R.I.P. to her too. And yeah, like you made it through 1. I made it through 2. Actually, I made it through the whole thing, but the second one was decent, man. That one had a young Mariska Hargitay who plays the detective, like the main officer in Law and Order. Okay. And man, as an older lady, she's attractive, but damn, Matt, I wish you would have made it to this second one because Mariska Hargitay in the early 90s.
Mariska?
Oh my, yeah. Well, you know her mom is Jane Mansfield, who was like a Playboy pinup. And yeah, she died in an accident in 67, man. And yeah, dude, like, so Griffin Dunn, he's like this Playboy dude, and he's engaged to one of the chicks, Mariska Hargitay, and another lady, I think she was Chelsea Field, who was also hot. Both of these smoking hot. And the main lady who's engaged to Griffin Dunn wants to like end it. She wants to end it, but Griffin Dunn comes in swagging, and he actually is going to break up with her because he knows Mariska Hargitay, or no, Chelsea Field from back in the day, and he's out there kissing her in the face right in front of his fiance. And he's like, yeah, and he's like, you know what? I'm actually breaking it off with you. So she cracks him in the back of the head with one of those, what do you call it, the stokers for the fireplace?
Yeah, damn,
cracked him open. But Griffin Dunn, man, I don't know if you remember, he was the guy in that Frasier episode we covered where Frasier's looking for a friend, and
the wheelchair guy.
The wheelchair guy, Griffin Dunn, man.
The beast is here. That's hilarious, dude. Also, I'm looking up Mariska Hargitay in the 90s.
Yeah.
La la. Mm-hmm. Mariska.
Ground shaking ass.
Mariska.
Yeah, but the Crispin Glover, Alicia Witt, the third one, that's when they lost me. I just phased out on that one.
And I want to like Crispin Glover stuff. I like Crispin Glover. He's a weird, cool guy with another person who is just really a strange, yeah, exactly, out there. But shout out, man. David Lynch, you're a ledge. Rest in peace, right? He's dead. He died recently.
Last year. Or this 2025, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe someday, Steve. Maybe it's like, blue cheese and other things. I'll figure it out as I get older.
Yeah, lollipops in the mouth. In 1995, House of Buggin' premieres on Fox. John Leguizamo's edgy sketch comedy show and the spiritual sequel to In Living Color. It was actually a replacement for In Living Color.
Luis Guzman was in this too. A
That's
young Luis Guz.
that's how I first knew about the dude. Like I remember watching at least a couple episodes of this show because in Living Color it ran its course. I was like, man, I need some more sketch. I need some more sketch on Fox.
I don't remember this at all. I don't remember House of Buggin' whatsoever. That's crazy.
10 episodes is easy to miss. So
they,
yeah.
they were like, we tried it, guys. Come on, John. Hit the brakes.
Yeah, man.
We got this thing called The Pest. You can use that.
And plus Mad TV came out later that year. So it was like, yeah, nah.
Was it all just Latino comics or like?
For the most part, it was like In Living Color, but brown.
Okay. Well, hey. Shout out to Luis Guzman, one of my favorite character actors of all time. So,
hey, Luis Guzman, you really, yeah, you're him. You're him.
You're
but in 1997, Larry Sanders is airing season 5, episode 6, The Matchmaker. When Brian ends his relationship with his boyfriend, Hank tries to fix him up, but winds up starting rumors about himself. Hey, now. Who created that? I thought Howard Stern came up with that, but I think he got that from this show, from Hank Kingsley.
Maybe he did. There's a lot of those drops where you don't realize like the context of where they came from and stuff, which is also a very interesting thing. But yeah, dude. Also, this episode, just as always with Larry Sanders, rife with like cameos. But there's some good cameos in this. I didn't know some of these people were actually on this show, like Scott Thompson,
Gail the Snail.
Yeah. You guys want to go smoke a bowl in the car?
Dude.
Yeah.
It's off-putting to see her normal.
Yeah, she's done a couple of things where she plays. I think she was in 20, or was she in 24 or something? She was in another show where she was like just like a secretary or something. So it is weird when you see her play something else. Same thing with the guy, the one of the brothers, the weird milk drinking brothers, the one guy that was on like Westworld and stuff. Stab somebody. Anywho, yeah, dude, we've all seen this in real life. People that have a job that they just can't do and they suck at it. And Larry's dealing with that. Everybody's dealing with it, it seems like, Steve.
Yeah. And Mary Lou, Miss Gail the Snail, her job is to book guests. So she's on the horn with Tom Hanks, Mr. Big himself. And she's just being starstruck. I can't blame her. I mean, if I was on the phone with Mr. Forrest Gump, oh man, yeah, stupid is stupid does. Life is a box of chocolates, yeah.
What was Corey Feldman like in The Burbs? Dude. Yeah, she's fanning out, Steve, which that's you can't do that in these jobs. So Paula, Janine Garofalo, comes over because they're friends. I think Paula got her this job. She's like, look, man, you're sucking. You can't do this. Chill out. That's basically the whole episode is this lady just sucking at her job. So that's happening. And then we cut to Hank, and he sees what I believe is his assistant, Brian, who's played by Scott Thompson from Kids in the Hall. And he asks him about, like, some guy didn't show up to his poker game. And I guess Brian screwed up the invite. And just bringing this up brings Brian to tears. He's like, I am so sorry. And Hank's like, all right. So he finds Penny and is like, look, man, this guy's like, he's paper thin. I can't say fragile. Anything. He's too fragile. You got to get rid of him. Who needs somebody? Get this problem off onto somebody else. But she was like, look, man, did you not hear? Brian broke up with his guy. So he's just a little, that's why. So now Hank feels a little bad.
Yeah. So he goes into his office to console Brian. And he even asked, like, man, after this recording, you want to go out for a drink? You know what I mean? I'm your bud, man. We've been working this whole time, man. Just unleash.
Just let it out. So that's out there. Maybe Hank's going to take his buddy out. So we cut to the show. And Larry's talking to Nicolette Sheridan, who's beautiful. I don't remember what she's from, but good Lord.
Yes.
And he mentions her being in something, but like his notes are off. He's like, "Yeah, you were in this movie," and she's like, "I wasn't in that movie." And he has to like just be like, "Let's go to commercial." And we find out Mary Lou is just she's screwing up the notes, Steve. You know, she's fanning out, she's screwing up the notes. This is the second time, man.
Yeah. And Art, he's been ready to let her go. And he's talking to Larry, and Hank comes up and he's like, I know what it is. It was my bad breath, wasn't it? Man, maybe it was the avocado. And Art's like, Hank, go take a seat.
Wait, avocado doesn't give people bad breath, does it?
Yeah. And then they cut back into they go back into the show, and Larry, the notes are still bad. He's like, so I heard you were just in Rome. I was in Paris.
Oh. So, you know, Mary Lou's not only screwing the interview up, but as we find out after the show, he's like, Larry was trying to get a date with Nicolette, which I also understand. And not knowing these things is going to screw that up. So he's doubly angry.
And Art's triply angry.
Art's ready he can fire anyone, Steve. This is real. He'll pull a knife. We all know that. So he'll pull a pink slip as fast as he'll pull a knife.
He might or he might not, but I don't want to find out. And Art tells Paula about her friend. He's like, look, I know you're new to this job, still learning, but this is the second time Larry's got the wrong notes.
And she takes that right back to Mary Lou and says the exact same thing to her. And like, Mary Lou's like, that's not my fault. This is what it says. And Mary Lou's just a dumb idiot, honestly, Steve. She's making a bunch of mistakes. At one point, she has a note sheet for one person. It's not the right person. It's the whole thing. She'd already be gone if it was Magnetic Incorporated, but it's not, Steve. And she's got a friend. So we're still there. She's hanging on by a thread. Then we cut to Hank and Brian, and Hank's taking his buddy out for a drink just to console him, you know, get him back on track. And he's basically like, look, man, you got to get back out on this horse. And Brian's like, horse? Excuse me?
Do I ride it?
Yeah. And now Hank's playing wingman to this guy. He's at a gay bar, and he's like, look, Brian, don't look. Play cool, but there's a guy looking at you right now. Let's go over there. Let's talk to him. Nightmare situation for anybody, gay or straight. But Brian's clearly not into it. Hank's very much just, you know, trying to help out. And we find out Hank's huge in the gay community, Steve. These two guys, very affluent looking gay dudes, lovable guys, love Hank, but I don't know. They don't seem too into Brian, Steve.
It's Gordon, and then he invites his friend Alan over to meet Hank Kingsley, the Hank Kingsley. Yeah. And he's like the Mariah Carey of late night talk shows. But Hank says something along the lines of, yeah, we caught you staring. And the guy cuts him off like, staring? Let's get up out of here.
And Brian's like, I knew I was a loser. I don't understand why they got really like, I don't know what they took so much offense to, but
I don't get that either. Yeah.
But Hank's like, look, man, this is LA. We can walk 5 feet and there's going to be another gay bar. So the night's young. Let's go find you a young stud.
Yeah. And they cut to the next day. Art is reading the headlines. Larry Sanders' sidekick was seen painting the town in a few gay bars last night.
I didn't even go to the manhole. There's like the greasy pole. There's a lot of innuendo in those bar names.
And Hank, he was like, look, hey, Brian, call some chicks. You know, I can't have people thinking I'm gay. The studios would have Rock Hudson around with some beautiful women all day to make sure he looked like a romantic leading man. And Brian's like, well, Rock Hudson was gay.
Yeah, but still, I can't have that.
Capital A AIDS. And now we cut to Tim Conway, Bowling Green alum, A Ziggy Zumba, and he's like, look,
himself.
The dwarf, man, yeah. And he's joking. He's like, look, I want my car detailed, but
I did. This episode made me love Tim Conway, dude. This guy seems very cool, but he gets assigned Mary Lou to do the pre-interview because Paula, Janine Garofalo, she's got to deal with an emergency. What's his face?
Harvey Firestein's
Harvey
coming.
Firestein's coming, but his luggage is lost, so she's got to go attend to that. So Mary Lou's got to do this interview with Tim Conway, and seeing how Mary Lou's kind of doing, Steve. She's even freaked.
So you were in Speed 2, huh? Anything funny happened between you and Sandra Bullock? Wait. Why isn't Paula in here doing this? Where's Harriet? Oh, they're both tied up. Look, man, I don't think this is necessary. Look, just have Larry ask me about Speed 2 and I'll fill in the blanks. This is why I wanted to cover this episode, because you got Barnacle Boy cussing out Gail the Snail. You can't make
this. Look, I'll say something about Sandra. It's a whole thing. Get out of here. Anywho. Yeah, so Mary Lou's screwing up. Pre-show, she also spills coffee on Larry. So she's just really deep on the shit list at this point. And
Art sees that. But Art sees this and he's like, look, Larry, can I fire her?
Why not, dude? Fire this woman. I don't understand what the hesitation is. I thought Hollywood was just cutthroat, but apparently they're really, they give you a long leash. And also I love Hank, like right before the show, Hank's like, look, Larry, I need a favor. And I think we all know what that favor is, Steve. So we cut to the show. Larry is made to point out Hank's date, who is a gorgeous looking Asian person in the front row. Little large, little strong in the shoulders, beefy neck, but still very beautiful, Steve.
Has a bulge. And so they show his date on screen the first time, but now it's time for the Tim Conway interview. And, they're talking about Dorf. And, man, I miss those days, man. This is one of those examples of us being kids at the right time and having certain kinds of entertainment catered to us. Like Ernest Goes to Camp. We were kids at the right time for that, to take that in the best way. Pause. And Tim Conway with Dorf, dude, he dropped a special like every year. I think Dorf goes golfing, Dorf goes fishing. And as a kid, man,
dude, they were bangers, Steve.
All of them.
Dorf Goes Golf. I might still have the tape.
I hope you do.
MG had the tape. That was a good one. So yeah, dude, I forgot about Tim Conway. Period. This guy was all over the place. I forgot about him, Steve. I didn't forget about Dorf. I always remember the name Dorf, but Tim Conway, I almost forgot about that name, Steve. Shame on me.
Chagrin Falls, Ohio. And
that's crazy. I didn't know he's a BG alum.
That too, man. And so Larry asked him about Speed 2, and Tim messes with him. He's like, Speed 2? No, I don't think I've been working for quite some time. So we come back to Paula and Gail the Snail, and she's like, you did it again? Well, it was in the notes. It's in the notes that he was in Speed 2, Cruise Control.
And I think she was like, that's where she's like, this isn't his sheet. This is somebody else's sheet or whatever. So, but he plays along. It's a whole thing. Mary Lou gets to save a little face. Tim's a hoot, Steve. He's a great guest. He's making everybody laugh. They cut to commercial. He's got to get going. And Hank's like, Larry, dude, really appreciate the date. And I think even Tim Conway mentions the beautiful woman as well, because Hank talked to him. And Larry takes that a little personally. He's like, look, man, how much of this do you need? Okay, I said it. You got other people saying it. Is that not enough? And Hank's like, come on, man. You see that? Look at those tries.
Yeah, got to show it off. And now it's time for Harvey Firestein.
Oh my God.
I don't get it. But he comes out, man, and
looking slim too, Steve. This is the slimmest I've ever seen Harvey Firestein. I gotta say.
Really? I mean, because even here he's sloppy built, but and with the sandals, just disgusting. So he says something to Larry about, this is my first time seeing you with clothes on. I mean, I watch you in my bedroom with no clothes on. I mean,
I have a cigarette and a man in my bed. But they have a talk. They get onto it. But then Harvey's like, "Oh, I can't believe it, Raylene." And he's like mentions that he knows somebody in the audience. Cut to Raylene. Raylene and Harvey had did a couple of drag shows together. He knows Raylene, and Raylene's Hank's date.
Yeah.
And he's like, I mean, I knew her when she was a man, but and so Hank's sitting there like, oh.
Yeah.
So Hank's dating a she-male, Steve, and that's what it is. Okay.
I knew him when he was George. So they immediately go back to commercial break. And Harvey was like, dude, I didn't know that you didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know.
I didn't know, Harvey.
Yeah.
And that's really it. I feel like there's like a joke with Nicolette Sheridan at some point at the end, but that's it, Steve. And I like Harvey Firestein came on here just to out a drag queen.
Yeah. And she was fine with it because she just went, yeah, that was me. I used to be William.
I used to be a fullback on the Dolphins. She looks like John Leguizamo did in Tu Wong Fu, honestly. Wow. That's what she looks like. And I've seen it, Steve, so I can say that from experience. And shout out to John, which we just talked about. But I love the episode, Steve. I love me some Hank. And this is a great Hank episode. And we find out Hank might have some my thing is, where'd you find her, Hank? That's the first person you call when you're trying to prove you're not gay.
Well, Brian, he left it up to him. He's like, hey man, I need you to call some chicks. So,
I forgot. You're right. Of course Brian's gonna call it. But shout out to also Scott Thompson, who for a while was one of my favorite. He was like my favorite kid in the hall because of all the stuff he did on that show. But it's good to see him in other things. I love that.
Great show. And on that same day in 97, News Radio was airing season 3, episode 12, Rap. Bill's editorials against rap music lyrics prompt Jimmy to invite rapper Chuck D to respond on the air. Hilarity ensues.
Chuck D, dude. We even get a Chuck D blooper at the end, which I love. But yeah, as we start the episode, Lisa, one of the white chicks on the show, Dave Foley's on again, off again romance, is on the phone. She seems kind of like a personal call. She's just trying to kind of hide it from everybody. And she keeps saying she's uncomfortable with it. So I thought maybe she was getting a call maybe about a possible new job, you know, at the current gig. But everybody's kind of just like in her business. And she's trying to hide. She's trying to keep it down. There's a staff meeting she keeps getting reminded of. People now think she's pregnant because of this phone call. Joe asked her about it, Joe Rogan. It's a whole thing, Steve. She has to hide under her desk. And no privacy. This is why I like working from home. You know?
Yeah, it has several benefits. And as I'm watching the show more and more, I have a crush on Vicki Lewis, a.k.a. Beth. You know, I got an affinity for those redheads.
Weird taste, man. You just got some strange, whatever. I thought, I got to say also to Beth, Vicki Lewis, I thought it was Kathy Griffin. In my mind, if you would have asked me a year ago if Kathy Griffin was in this show, I would have said, yes, it's the redhead chick. It's not.
No.
And I bet Kathy Griffin was very angry at Vicki. Probably lost a lot of gigs to her. So shout out to Vicki. I don't get it, Steve. You know who I'm attracted to in this cast.
I like her too. Lisa. Candy Alexander. Oh yeah, that's this is why I fall asleep with the TV on. Maybe Candy and Vicki Lewis can give me some of that action, but still have
little swirlification on the menage.
Mm-hmm. The redheads, they are the Negroes of white people. But Beth, she shows up and she's alerting her about this meeting. And she's like, whatever, I'm on the phone. Then Joe, Mr. Rogan, shows up telling her about the meeting. He's like, wait, are you pregnant? Both of them ask, is she pregnant? And then Matthew, Mr. Andy Dick, just sitting there staring at her.
He actually when she's under the desk, like does something to interrupt the call, but they interrupt the call. Lisa, we don't know what the call was about until after the credits, where she talks to Jimmy James, which I always love this guy's name. That's a great rich guy's name, Jimmy James,
I,
Jimmy Jam.
I like his real name too, Stephen Root.
Hell yeah, you know he said that in a very sexual way to some very lucky lady at some point. But Lisa's trying to talk to Jimmy. She needs his advice because that call was actually about an article that New York Magazine wants to do about her, which you think is great, right? Publicity, get a little credit, but it's not about her writing, Steve. It's for the cutest reporter in New York City. Aw,
And she is cute. Maura Tierney, you're a cutie pie.
she is. I like the get up she has on in this episode. It reminds me of chicks I had a crush on in the 90s. Very it's not Blossom, but I don't know. It's very white chick. So yeah, so Jimmy James, he's like, look, publicity's, but he's all about publicity, basically. You know, he's a businessman, and he can't get through his head. He's like, why? What's the problem here? But you know, he's like, I get it. You don't, you know, you want to be respected or whatever. She's like, just keep it quiet, please. And he's like, of course. It's between you and me. And then he just walks out and just starts screaming at the top of his lungs. So everybody knows. She's cute.
Lisa's the cutest. And then we cut to Bill and Joe sitting in Bill's car, and his stereo, it doesn't sound right. And Joe's like, man, you listen to this garbage? It's rap music, and I love it. Speaks to me in places I didn't even know I had ears. And I wish I had a better Phil Hartman impression because he was the shit.
It's hard to do, Steve. It's just very, I can't do it either. I'm not going to try.
It's hard to impersonate an impersonator, I realize.
That's true. He just has he has a radio voice. He was born with a golden voice. So, you know, he's talking to Joe. Joe clearly like has pulled a fast one on this guy. He's like, it's under warranty. You know, Bill's like, no, that's a lie. You know, or, you know, Joe said it's not under warranty. And Bill goes against that. And then Joe's like, all right, man, I'll fix it, but you're going to have to pay me. So the agreement's done. And as soon as they shake hands, Joe's like, okay, just flips the treble up a little bit because he had it all the way down. So he's like, now you can hear what they're saying. And now that Bill can hear what rap really is, Steve, and that there's actual words to it, he's not a fan.
Yeah, because this whole time he didn't even know it had lyrics. Now, we cut back to the office, and Beth, she's grilling Lisa about being cute. You're not cute, you're pretty. There's a difference. Like, they're short and hyperactive, and that's cute, and that's me. So, you know, the code word for voluptuous, that's really just pretty and fat. Sexy is just a code word for pretty and easy. And exotic, that's a code word for ugly.
And basically, Beth's like, look, we can't skew the terminology here. Cute's got to be cute. So as soon as somebody that's not cute gets called that, the terms, it's done. We can't have that. And yeah, so that's the thing. You know, all these ladies now, cute? Who's the cutest? Because Beth thinks she's the cutest. Lisa, she's hurt. We'll get to other people later. But Bill comes into the break room. He's finally actually hearing the words to this rap, this so-called rap music, Steve, this riggedy rap. And he can't believe it. You know, we've talked about it, but he's like, look, I'd be fine if they were selling this in the back of a porn store, like out of some sort of a scummy alleyway. But this stuff's available everywhere. You can't have this, right? And somebody's like, how do you know about the porno store or whatever? He's like, trust me.
I've heard. And oh yeah, so you won't believe how they reference themselves, like how they talk to each other, what they refer to themselves as, the N word. And then Matthew's like, what's the N word? Nerd? No, worse than that. What's worse than nerd? And
I think
Catherine, yeah, Catherine, hot ass Candy Alexander, she whispers in his ear, and he's like, "Nincompoop, don't you ever say that again."
watch your mouth. So now Matthew, lovable man. I don't like that they're using a person named Matthew, Steve. We're all not lovable doofuses like this. Shout out to
Yeah,
Andy Dick for still being alive, by the way. Um, he's really taken a fun turn in life.
yeah.
But Catherine kind of spoke up for Lisa when they were talking. We cut to like a bathroom, and Lisa's like, "Hey man, thank you so much. Appreciate you sticking up for me." And Catherine's like, "Better watch out. You better just stay away."
Don't push it.
Yeah, because people think you're cute. Look at this and this, and I got to agree. I mean, I don't even really feel like Lisa has an argument in this case, but
Yeah.
we're seeing Steve. Everybody's a little edgy about this, and even Lisa, she doesn't really have a lot of confidence, but Catherine, I'm on her side. She should be the cutest, and even more sexiest, or whatever you want to call it, voluptuous.
Sexiest, prettiest, ground shaking ass, titties in the asshole. And we cut back to Bill, and he's still ranting about this rap. My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns on. You know the name of this song? Baby Got Back?
Yeah, so he wants to do a whole editorial about it. Dave's not really listening to it, but as he like finishes up his tirade, Dave's like, "Hey man, like, you go back 10 years and you might be one of the first people that's actually given out this opinion, because we've all heard this before. This is very Christian youth group energy that Bill's throwing out here." So he's like, "Look, man, you can do this, but don't you dare go after the lambada, you piece of garbage."
Everyone could die. And now, before Bill leaves, he sees Lisa and he's like, yeah, cuteness might get you ahead elsewhere, but here it's about the work.
He's driven right now, Steve. He can't believe it. So Bill's off on his tirade. He leaves, and Lisa comes into Dave's office, and she's like, "Look, Jimmy, Dave, I'm not doing this." And Jimmy is like, "Look, why are you throwing away all this good publicity? It's free advertising for this station. Like, what's going on?" And Lisa has this she's holier than thou, Steve. She's like, advertising is all dishonest.
It's deceptive.
And as soon as Jimmy Jam hears that, I mean, don't start going at that's going at the money, Steve. You start playing with his money, you start playing with his emotions, and he goes off.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah. And he's like, "What? What?" I mean, advertising. It goes from advertising to America. Sesame Street gets brought into it. Bye bye, Grover. Bye bye, Oscar the Grouch. Kermit the goddamn frog, Steve.
Kermit the motherfucking frog. And by the way, Stephen Root is Bill Daltrey, and what is the company that Hank works for? He plays his boss as well. So he's Bill and that guy.
Really?
Yeah, in addition to other characters. So Stephen Root,
propane company, Steve.
Buck Strickland.
God damn it!
Yeah,
I did not know that. I knew he was Bill, which it's hard to hear his voice though and not picture Bill.
so you knew he was Bill.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, this guy that's Bill or Stephen Root has been many prolific characters, dramatic and comedic, over the years. But yeah, great actor. He can't stand what Lisa's saying. I mean, it's literally making him go insane. So, there's a little bit of pressure on Lisa to do this shoot, Steve, you could say.
And it's not rap music, it's crap music. That's the Bill O'Neill perspective. So David and I think Jimmy, they're going over his little editorial, and apparently Matthew wrote it.
Yeah, because Dave's like, "This is the most idiotic thing you've ever written, Bill." And Bill's like, "I didn't write that. I paid Matt handsomely to write that."
Yeah.
I guess Matthews, that's what happens, Steve. I was writing English papers for people. This Matthew, he's writing copy for Bill about rap music. I wouldn't have done this.
and he paid him $7.
$7 whole and a couple of nice coins too, Steve. A couple of Abraham Lincolns. You know what I'm talking about. But he's gonna do it, and he goes in to start. Dave's talking to Jimmy Jam, and he's like, "Look, man, he can do whatever he wants because I own the company that owns the company that owns the company that makes the rap albums he's talking about." It's something where he's getting free publicity off this, no matter what. The rich win, Steve. The rich always get richer. We should know that by now.
Big bank take little bank. And we cut back to Lisa and the girls. They're sitting down, and she tells them, I talked to the magazine, and I told them it's very disgusting. And I also told them it's all or nothing. You got to take the three of us or no one at all.
I'll take all three of you ladies any day. And so she's sticking up for the ladies. Right, Steve? It's a sisterhood of the traveling pants. And they're going to, speaking of somebody who knew some scummy photographers in L.A., I'd love to be on set,
Because she even tells them, like, apparently the magazine said the more the merrier. And she was like, how sick is that? The girls are like, well, when do we need to be there?
Yeah, I got to get my hair done. I got to go buy a new brassiere. That's great, though. So, sisterhood. What's the radio station named at this? What is this radio station, Steve?
It is New York City AM News Radio.
Okay. I keep thinking KACL, and that's Frasier's.
WNYX.
There we go. WNYX. The ladies, they're all together. Can't wait for that shoot. Cut to the McNeil perspective, Steve. And Bill's giving his diatribe. And as we cut like out of the booth, I always love this set, Steve. I'd love to work at this radio station. You get to look right into the booth. You get to see these people. So Bill's going into it. Jimmy brought in a ringer to maybe debate Bill on this show, Steve. And it's none other, Steve, than Chuck D himself. Public Enemy #1.
Back again, Rackus the Incredible. And he arrives and he's looking for the guy that was talking crazy about rap lyrics. And Dave tells him it's the guy that looks like he's talking crazy about rap lyrics. And you see Bill McNeil, he's just like ranting. It's just all you could see is his pantomimes. And he goes in there and before Dave talks to Jimmy, he's like, well, one of his beliefs is sucking up to famous people. So Chuck goes in there and he introduces himself. He's like, hey, I'm Chuck D. Well, you're going to have to find another name because it's taken up by someone else in the industry. Yeah, it's taken up by me. Welcome to the Terror Home.
Can I get your autograph? Oh, my God. Yeah, so Chuck starts grilling him, and he's like, look, man, I just read this stuff. Like, that's the guy that... So he throws Matthew right under the bus in front of Chuck D. And basically, Chuck D talks Matthew into a corner on the show, but then says something that I don't like to hear Chuck D say to Andy Dick, which is, no, we're not so far apart, you and me. You know?
Totally are.
Guys, let's erase this episode, I feel like. We don't want that, you know?
Yeah. And he asked, like, do you really believe that rap is cancerous to today's youth? Well, see, I try to exaggerate. I tend to do that from time to time. Oh, exaggerate? Well, sometimes rappers exaggerate. Let me guess. You do it to make it more interesting, right? And you do it to sell, to make money, right? Well, yeah, but you make money off of it too, but totally fucked that one up. That's what happens when you smoke weed before we record.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to get it all out. It's tough to remember all this. But yeah, Chuck D does what Chuck D does. He's a professor and he schools everybody in the room, makes them look like idiots, and makes Bill just want an autograph, really, because he's just a star fucker. So it's all good. And they get Chuck D in the booth. So I love that. So we cut from that to the photo shoot. And Lisa shows up a little early and a little stiff, Steve.
At first she's stiff. But, yeah. I mean, at this point, the ladies, all three of them are there.
Well,
And
she starts off stiff. This cuts because she shows up alone, does a couple of shots, kind of gets into it. Then Lisa and what's her face show up, or not Lisa, Beth and the other chick show up,
Catherine,
and they're stiff, even though they were talking all that mess before. So then we see the whole photo shoot. We see it, and it gets pretty gnarly, Steve. Because I do like they come in, they're like, they're not going to make us do anything stupid, are they? And then by the end of the thing, they got like leather dresses on, and they're smiling. They're doing the whole thing.
yeah. And I was pleased at the end when Beth and Catherine are wearing wearing the leather with the chains and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Oh, Steve's into the Hellraiser shit. Okay, all right.
Shout out to Vicki Lewis though. She's from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I didn't know she was married to Nick Nolte.
Ah, hell. Is she still married to Nick Nolte, Steve?
Only from 94 to 03. They were partners, my bad. But
Okay.
her current spouse is Philip Allen, and they were married in 08. So
I used to like Bad Boys. Oh, it's okay. Who was it? Ah, Nick Nolte. He just hell.
1990 sexiest man of the year, or was it 91?
That's
I remember,
crazy.
yeah.
And then the early what? How much crack did he smoke? That's what happened, Steve.
Is that what it is? You got to smoke crack to be seen as
He
handsome?
looks like no, I'm saying he was the world's sexiest man, and then in 10 years, he became Nick Nolte that we know and love. That looks like he Marv from Home Alone 2 after he got electrocuted.
Meth, not even once.
Ah, hell.
And that following year, 1998, WCW Thunder premieres on TBS. 156 episodes, man. We got you, Thunder, by almost 100.
Yeah, we outdid WCW Thursday night, Steve.
Yeah.
Couple interesting things that when I was reading about this, which like in hindsight make a lot of sense, but Bischoff wasn't really into the idea of doing another like 2-hour show because it would diminish the brand. He said, he didn't have enough talent, not enough money. And I mean, I can't disagree with the man after history's unfolded because, like you said, Steve, wasn't soon after this, WCW didn't exist anymore, at least as we knew it.
Couple more years. And I mean, not just this, obviously Eric and the company, they made a couple slip ups that eventually, man, you're going to lose the Vince either way. You can make all the great moves at the right time, but man, just give Vince some time. And lo and
you don't think there's any timeline where Eric Bischoff and Ted Turner made all the right moves and like beat WWF?
They were for 83 weeks straight. They were.
But I'm saying, like, was there any moves that they made that you see that, like, if they had made those, they could have actually eclipsed WWF, because they were beating them. So wasn't there a way for them to actually like fully beat WWF and absorb them instead of the other way around?
Well, it's hard to say eclipse WWF because of the Vince factor, but there were some foot in the mouth moments, like the time they suggested audiences go to Raw, go watch Raw because Mick Foley's going to finally win the championship. Yeah, that'll put some butts in seats, and it did, because when he announced that, everybody went to Raw. They're like, dude, Mankind's going to finally win, dude, and is one of the most blockbuster Raw episodes. So they did that a couple times where they thought that they were going to spoil the matches because at the time Raw wasn't live. They would tape them. So they and sometimes it did work. That method worked, but that time, man, they FIFO'd. And also the finger poke of doom. That really blew because that was for the world title, I think.
And I think also the constant addition of new NWOs, like they had a thing, right? And then they were like, well, what's better than this? The same thing twice, and it just kept going to where, as a fan, I was like, all right, LWO, BWO, DW.
It was starting to become like Power Rangers, Power Rangers Turbo, Power Rangers Nitro. It was like Power Rangers and add an American Gladiator name to it.
And also, and I mean, this was also due to the decline of Scott Hall, but just like when they started like showing him like all messed up and kind of like just wrote him off for, you know, because of his behavior, I'm assuming, obviously. I kind of had checked out by that point. I was fully like back to WWF at that after that.
Yeah,
So
it's
personally for me, that's kind of like when I started checking out all the NWOs and that. I was like, all right,
pretty
you guys.
distasteful, man. Yeah, they took some low blows, and especially when they had the one guy impersonating Jim Ross, and he even impersonated his Bell's palsy,
Yeah.
like the swelled up jaw and all that. So yeah, man, WCW, you deserve to lose. And yeah, man. So what are the callbacks for this week?
Well, we're here. I know we had our Happy New Year episode, but Happy New Year to everybody. Appreciate everybody that's checking in, checking us out. I was able to watch Batman Returns at a local theater. They had like a Christmas movie, whatever, marathon of stuff. And we went to see this. I haven't seen Batman Returns in the theater since it was out in the theater, obviously. And I've really never classified it as a Christmas movie, Steve. So I wanted to ask you.
No.
Do you think it's a Christmas movie? No. It's heavily Christmas vibed. I will say that. I forgot about that. But, and I was talking about this with the guy that owns this theater. It's a small theater. The guy's cool. Shout out to Chris at Bexley, Drexel. He said that this is actually his favorite Batman. And I said to him, I can't agree with you. I think the first one's better than this in the Tim Burton universe. What do you think?
I agree with him.
You think Returns is better than original Batman?
I used to think the original was better because of Jack Nicholson, but man, this one you got two villains. Well, I don't know if Catwoman's considered a villain, but she owned that part, man.
And Walken. Walken's a third villain. Like he kind of is the villain, you know.
Walken, and then of course Danny DeVito. The setting I think was better. The cinematography was a little bit better in my opinion, and also it's got a little bit of Pee Wee. It's got some Paul Rubens. So it's depending on what day you ask me, man. But right now I'm saying Batman Returns, man. It's one of those two, though. I will say that it's one of the first two for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. Any other ones that came out, the Christian Bale ones, I enjoyed them, but I don't think they're anywhere close to those. And honestly, man, like I even dig the Val Kilmer one. I know people hate it, but I dig it. I think it's great. I think it's crazy, but I mean, screw it. It was the 90s, Steve. You know,
he's my second favorite.
Everything's great about it, but that's my callback. And just again, if you get the chance to see a 90s movie in the theater, I think it's really fun if you can get the right situation, just because I don't know, there's something different about it. I've said it a million times. I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but it was cool, man. It was really fun. So I disagree with you on this, Steve, but like you said, throw a little Prince on, maybe you change your mind around and remember that part of it too. So
true.
How about you? Callbacks.
It's been a while since I've heard that, so you might be right, man. 1983, Designing Women is airing Too Dumb to Date, and that has our guy Putty in there, and he's basically playing the same role where he's dating one of the girls. Hey, babe. And Seinfeld, I skipped over that. 92, they're airing The Subway, and this is another classic episode where you're seeing all four of them on the subway, and each of them have a different narrative. Very interesting narrative. One of them, George, he meets a chick, brings her back to the crib, and he ends up being handcuffed. He was talking to a hooker the whole time, and she handcuffs him to the bed. She's like, goes through his wallet, like $7. That's all you got? And she just leaves him butt ass naked with no clothes on. So yeah, George has to come into Monk's Cafe wrapped up like a Hare Krishna. And even one of the people like, Hare Krishna, shut up. So, we covered a lot of Seinfeld, so gotta like give somebody else some shine. And also, man, Raw. the 1996 January 8th edition of Raw is important because we are introduced to the ringmaster who is gifted with the $1 million belt. This is the ringmaster's first time being on WWF television, and we know him better as Stone Cold Steve Austin's son.
The ringmaster. Does he have hair?
He has like hair like I do right now. Like
Oh,
where I'm not completely bald, but you can
yeah.
see like some Homer Simpson going on all over. But yeah, man. Thank you again for supporting us, the subscribers, the followers, the watchers, the listeners. And please continue. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please tell your sister, fuck her Lucky Charms. Check out Food Show Fanatics as well as Crushgasm every Wednesday with Kendra G, our guy Clark the Shark on Podcastle, and Wrestling with Ronzilla on TikTok. This is Steve G and Mad G with Happening in the 90s.
You're a bitch.